Let me ask you, first of all, the degree to which you think about Facebook and Google. How much are you preoccupied with them? There's a lot of talk of who might be able to compete with these two titans, whether it's Amazon or someone else. How difficult a barrier is that to overcome?
Well, I mean, Google is sort of number one in terms of media destinations for ourselves, and I think all our competitors who represent clients, the client base, and then Facebook in our case would be the third, but it is challenging to become the second. And our spending, or the spending that we're seeing by clients on Facebook, despite all the challenges, about fake news and fraud on the internet and measurability and viewability and consumer brand safety and political brand safety, despite all that, it continues to charge ahead, and not just in the United States but worldwide. So the alternatives, the third force is, that could be an AOL oath, and that's in its infancy. I think you've had Tim on the program, and obviously that's one potential. Snap is another potential. We've invested in AppNexus. We have a 16% stake in AppNexus, which is still private, which is another potential third force. There are third forces actually that could come from the traditional industry itself. For example, what's really interesting is the newspaper owners and the publication owners you see teaming up, around a meeting in Turin, around celebrating the 150th anniversary of Corriere della Sera. They got together and are now putting some pressure on
Do they have a chance? Can they make inroads, do you think?
We'll see. I mean, they are concerned about the use of their content with limited or no return, and therefore they may be able to get some more balance. The fines by the EU, the first fine on Google, and there are two other cases to come down from the EU. The pressure on Facebook on the tax front, and not just Facebook and Google but others. There's clearly a concern. I mean, the fearsome five are, in our brand survey, the top 5 brands in the world, the big tech companies, and in terms of market cap now, as you well know, they're the 5 most valuable firms on the planet. I think the 6th is Berkshire Hathaway at about 430 billion or whatever it is. So these companies really have a dominance, and then surrounding all this is the concern, or involved in this is the concern around Amazon. Amazon dominates, the cloud space, or not dominates, but certainly is highly influential.
Are you concerned with them as they get into advertising more?
Well, we're trying to build a strong relationship with them, and have had some success on a small scale. I mean, they are a search competitor to Google. So coming back to your first question, that clearly is going to be a battleground. 55%, according to our research, 55% of product searches in the United States emanate through Amazon. Now, with the voice-controlled devices, and each of the fearsome five have one of these voice Alexa type of devices, but if Alexa is going to discriminate on price, for example, as it does already on batteries and baby wipes, I'm an expert on baby wipes, up all night with baby wipes, obviously that concern increases, and we've seen one or two very interesting developments on the packaged goods side, and some interesting pieces being written recently about how influential Amazon will be, finding categories that it can dominate. So it has 1/3 of the battery market here in the US with the cheapest batteries. It has the cheapest baby wipes at 1/3 of the market too. So it's starting to look for high margin categories that it can invade. So the packaged goods companies are faced with a couple of pressures. They've got the ZBB and the activist investors at one end of the spectrum, and then at the retail, having escaped the sort of Walmart, Tesco, Carrefour dominance, the physical dominance, you now have the e-commerce dominance of a Alibaba or an Amazon or a JD.com. JD.com is interesting because it's different. It is said it'll only merchandise branded goods. It won't seek to compete with private label or white label. So that's really an interesting alternative.